Donald Trump Jr. has never quite learned the lesson that people who live in glass houses should not throw stones. And the good folks on Twitter are always very quick to remind him of that every time he says something incredibly stupid on Twitter, which he did yesterday. Actually, no, I think it was Tuesday of this week. Either way, Trump Jr. comes out on Twitter following a Joe Biden press conference, a speech, if you will, talking about COVID here in the United States. Trump Jr. comes out on Twitter and he says, quote, "Biden really makes reading a teleprompter look hard." Obviously mocking Joe Biden's stutter, his speaking patterns, and sure, the guy doesn't talk the way he used to. Hell, we've talked about that. You go back and you look at, Joe Biden, even from the 2008 election, you go back and you look at him on the floor of the Senate in the 90s, it's like a different person, right? He's older. He's lost a couple steps. That much is obvious. He also has a stutter. And as he's gotten older, it has gotten worse. But here's the thing. Trump Jr. mocking this completely seems to forget about the fact that his own father could barely string a sentence together when he was president of the United States and, of course, today. But luckily, the folks on Twitter were very quick to find all the clips they could and use those to respond to Trump Jr.'s idiotic tweet. The Daily Show actually has a supercut of Donald Trump being unable to speak, unable to read from notes or a teleprompter. So here is that, just to remind everybody what we had for 4 straight years. Take a look.
Defeat the coronavirus, the coronavirus. Surgical gowns. We have no contingency plan. Administer convalescent plasma and cefahide. So that's 1,870,000 tests. To use the Defense Production Act and the Defense Production Act, hydroxychloroquine and hydroxychloroquine. Remdesivir. I thank them for their unwavering devotion, immense pride, and the selflessness. The bravery of our truck drivers, transfusing it into six patients very, very, very powerfully. So 6 patients. I am confident that by counting and continuing, taking action to suspend and suspend. The internet made it so big. Show you some of the latest, just the data to the highest level of activists. I mean, if you take a...
you want to talk about who's the bigger screw up when it comes to speaking out loud. I think I'm going to have to go with Trump on that. But let's also not forget that presidents and their manner of speaking is something that is usually widely mocked by quite literally everybody. Going all the way back to Richard Nixon, and people would make fun of the way he talked. Come on. That's what happens. George W. Bush, they used to put out those little daily calendars with Bushisms that would just have some of the made-up words that Bush would say in speeches and press conferences during debates, right? That's a thing that always gets mocked. And no one party, no one candidate can claim superiority over the other when it comes to speaking and reading. Hell, it's probably out of line for me to even sit here and criticize the way that Trump trips over his words or Biden trips over his words. I do it all the time. If you're a regular viewer here, you've probably heard me say some things that didn't quite make sense because I trip over my words. I do it at Ring of Fire as well. It's what happens when you do a lot of speaking. Eventually, some days you just have bad days. Some days you trip over your words. But Trump Jr. needed a win, right? That's why he tweeted this out. He didn't have to. It wasn't relevant to anything. Biden didn't sound like a moron out there giving his speech. But Trump Jr. is always out there trying to get a win for his family, a win for daddy, maybe to win over daddy's love. But this wasn't it. You want to come at Biden, go after him for his policies and refute them in an intellectual way, you're more than welcome to do that, little Junior. But if you want to make fun of the way that he talks, just remember, your dad was president in the era where videos live forever online, and people are always gonna one-up you when you make fun of the way somebody speaks.